Whoa, look at that brisket. It's tender, it's salty, it's sweet, smoky, and definitely juicy. I'm gonna share with you a few tips of how to make it. Welcome to my workshop. Tomorrow is my son Apollo's 18th birthday. He invited a group of his friends to come over. So the night before, start the preparation of this brisket. First, I like to rinse the brisket very well and pat it dry. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and start trimming the fat. The brisket consists of two muscles. The point, which is the thick part that I'm working on right now, and then the flap, which is the part that is in front, that is a little thinner. I like to trim the fat to about 1/4 of an inch, making sure that I have enough fat in there to keep the meat very moist while cooking. Remember, we were going to be cooking this for about 6 to 8 hours. There's a lot of people that like to trim it a lot more. You do it as you like it. The only thing that you have to remember is that fat cap is going to keep the moisture in the brisket while we're cooking it for that long of a period. And don't worry about it if you are sometimes trimming and a piece of meat shows like that little window with meat in it. That's perfect. You can go ahead and season the meat right there, so it's going to be much better. And you flip it over and you can trim a little more. Most of the fat on the back is not a thick fat, so that's going to all render. The most important thing I'm looking here is to even it out. Maybe make it a rectangle, so once it's even, it cooks evenly, so it doesn't have all these weird parts which is really fat in one area, really thin in another area. So that's one of the most important things that you should do when you're looking into trimming and getting the brisket ready for the rub. So when we're talking about rub, this is how you personalize your brisket. You do it again as you like. You can put as many ingredients as you like. You can buy one. I like to make my own, and I like to grind it really, really coarse. Black pepper, cumin seeds. Then I put some brown sugar, salt, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, chili powder, onion powder, granulated garlic. You can add as many spices as you like. I know some people like to add mustard, coffee, you name it, they add it. My belief is the more ingredients you put in that rub, the less likely it is for people to be able to taste what's on the rub. Once you have all your ingredients in, just make sure that it's mixed thoroughly, so every little part of the rub that you put has all the ingredients at once. Some people like to, at this point, grab the brisket and put some mustard, yellow mustard, to use as a binder so the rub sticks to the meat. Some other people use olive oil and so forth. I'm not a big fan again. I like to put my rub and just put it pretty heavy and really, really massage that rub in everywhere. On the sides, on the top, on the bottom. I do it coarse so it stays in there. I don't want to add another oil to this. I think it has plenty of fat. I just prefer to leave the flavors of the meat intact. As you can see, I just want to make sure that that rub is coarse and all the way through. Make sure that on these windows that we have here where the meat is exposed, we have plenty of seasoning so the meat can absorb it during the cooking period. So as you can see, it's very, very, very heavy. And now we're just gonna let it rest until tomorrow, where we're gonna put it in the smoker around 275 degrees until we reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees. If you don't have a smoker, or if you don't have a grill, or you just don't want to do it because you think it's too difficult, don't let that stop you. You can still do it in your oven at home. All you have to do is put it at 275 degrees, put the brisket without a tray, and just put it on the top rack. Put the tray on the bottom rack just to grab all the juices that will be dripping and just cook it slow until you reach 165 degrees. After that, we're just gonna go ahead, pull it out, wrap it with aluminum foil or butcher paper, stick it back in the oven or the grill, in my case, at 275 degrees until we reach an internal temperature of 202 to 205 degrees. Right now the brisket is completely cooked because it's 165 degrees, but it's still hard. So we want to steam it in the aluminum foil or the butcher paper until we reach 203 degrees. At that point, the protein will have broken down and the brisket will be so tender and so soft and so moist and juicy. So here we are. We are at 203 degrees. I let the brisket rest for about an hour, and now I'm just gonna proceed to look at it and slice it. The best way to know that your brisket is perfect to be sliced is that even though it's pretty hot, you don't see any smoke or steam coming off the brisket. So now it's perfect timing. As you can see, it looks delicious. It looks beautiful. It's tender. All the rub still in there. That's why I use the coarse rub. And here it is. We're gonna start slicing. As you can see how juicy it is. There's no steam coming off of it. Look at that. That is just beautiful. To have a juicy brisket is very important. You let it rest. You need to let it rest. This is the part that the flap and the point join, and look at the juices coming off of that. It's incredible. It's delicious. It's super tender. And that's what a great brisket should look like. Now you just put your favorite garnishes. You can put a barbecue sauce if you want on it. I usually don't because the rub has great flavors already. If you have any questions, please comment below, send me a message. If you like what you saw, subscribe, like, follow my page, and I'll see you next time.